In this video guys, I bring you a complete guide on crafting within Path of Exile 2, what you should and what you should not be doing. How's it going guys? My name is thje. Now do you guys want to win 300 points? Well, it's as simple as this. Drop a like on this video, leave me a comment down below and make sure you are subbed. I'll pick a winner from the comment section and announce them in a few days, so good luck everybody. So crafting in Path of Exile 2 is a great way to make yourself and your build not only more powerful, but just in general make the game a lot more fun too. When you know how to craft and the elements to it, it makes knowing what you are looking for in regards to specific items dropping for you, and then being able to identify what's what, it makes the game flow even smoother. It's an aspect to Path of Exile 2 I'm still seeing people make mistakes with, but hopefully today I can teach you everything you need to know. The first thing I feel is important to explain are the different item rarities, where all are very important here. We have whites, which I call common, blue, which is magic, we have yellow, which is rare, and then there's the top rarity item of orange, which is unique. The thing about crafting in this game is you can take a white common item, and if you are lucky with your rolls, you can turn that white common item into something super special, an endgame item. Okay, so as you play and progress this game guys, you'll get many items drop, gear, weapons, etc, but you also get orbs too. Now orbs are used directly in crafting and making gear better. Now a fast way in getting orbs is by disenchanting gear you do not need. So any gear you collect which isn't good enough for your build, your class, you can get rid of. If gear is white common, sell it for gold, but keep in mind, some white gear you don't actually want to sell, and we'll come to that in a second. If the item is a blue magic piece, disenchant it at vendors. This will give you transmutation shards. If the item is yellow rare gear and you don't need it, when you disenchant this guys, you are given those Regal shards. Now once you stack 10 of any shard, you get its orb. For instance, 10 Regal shards will give you a Regal orb. 10 transmutation shards will give you a transmutation orb. You can also find these orbs too as a chance they drop from enemies, but we'll come to exactly what these orbs are used for in a quick second. Now if you get gear which has a socket slot on it or a quality stat on it, no matter the rarity guys, you want to salvage these items. For the items with the sockets on them, when you salvage them you get those Affixes shards. 10 of these shards will give you an orb, and that orb will allow you to apply a socket slot to your gear, which you can then apply runes to. Now gear you get with that quality stat on it, if you salvage this you get that scrap. Scrap is a very useful item in improving the quality of your gear, making it offer more, and when you finally have that gear you believe you will stick with, you want to max out that gear with a plus 20 in regards to its quality. So yes, keep that in mind. Now what I say is, and I say this to everybody, don't ever leave loot on the floor. It's all useful, so if you're storming through maps and your inventory becomes full, teleport back to town guys and do what you gotta do with that gear. Whether you gotta sell it, disenchant it, salvage it, place it in your stash, just clear out your inventory so you can carry on farming. Because more or less everything in this game guys will turn into a vital material. Okay, so to understand crafting you first need to understand what's even possible and the possible outcome that can come for you. So you obviously want a rare yellow piece with 6 affixes on it. Now affixes on these items are limited to a total of 6. I think it's 6 on yellows and 2 on a blue. But yes, you want 6 on a yellow item. That is more or less endgame gear. But these affixes guys come in 2 categories, where the rare items can only hold a max of 3 of each. These categories are prefixes and suffixes. So you can get 3 of each on a single rare yellow item, so that's 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. Now what you can get in each category guys is limited, and there isn't an affix that can roll in both categories, so keep that in mind too. Now you will see certain items where it appears to have 4 prefixes or maybe even 4 suffixes. Here what you're seeing is actually a single prefix or a suffix which adds 2 stats, meaning it appears as 4. Now the prefixes and suffixes are obviously set in what can and can't appear as an affix. Now, to know what can and can't drop on any particular item would be way too long of a video to explain here, but there are websites you can use, guys, which tell you exactly what can and can't drop on a particular item. This is a great way to know what you can craft towards. I'll link the Path of Exile 2 database in the video description if it's something you're interested in. It tells you all the fixes you can roll in both the prefix and suffix sections of your gear. And in reality, guys, our goal is to craft a yellow rare item here which has 6 affixes on it, which is perfect for our builds. Now on controller, to check what's what, you can just press in that right thumbstick and it will show you the prefixes and the suffixes. So earlier, guys, I mentioned a couple of orbs. These are vital for crafting, but to revert back to this, because you need to know what's what, the Orb of Augmentation is something commonly found that drops from ads. The Orbs of Transmutation, you obviously stack 10 of the Transmutation shards for disenchanting that gear. We then, guys, have those Regal Orbs, which again you stack 10 Regal shards and you get the orb. There's also the Exalted Orb, which is a super rare drop. We then have Chaos Orbs, which is another rare piece, which doesn't drop too random, I'm not gonna lie to you. And then also Essences too, and we will come to Essences later on in the video. Okay, so when it comes to crafting, it's definitely best in my opinion to start from the ground up. So you need to find a white common piece which fits into your build, or guys, you can use one of the many vendors and hopefully buy one. Either or, when you have that white piece, you can now use this, guys, to try and build that perfect item for you. Now, white pieces are best because they're like an empty canvas for us to create that masterpiece with, but keep in mind, it isn't as simple as upgrading it. There is a massive part of RNG involved in upgrading gear, because you obviously want to fix it on your gear, which is perfect for your build. But from this point, guys, from the very start of upgrading that white piece, if you upgrade it, guys, and you have an affix on it that doesn't match your build, it's useless to you. Stop while you are ahead, guys, scrap this piece of gear, start over again. When crafting any piece, the first affix you apply to your gear needs to be one that suits your build. If it ain't, get rid. Simple as that. So with that white item at hand, you can now here, guys, use the Orb of Transmutation, which will upgrade this item into a blue magic item, which will also add a modifier affix to it. Now if, guys, after this that white piece has turned into a blue piece with a perfect affix on it for you, you are good to go. If it isn't, guys, like I said, scrap this piece and start again. But yes, let's say for instance, guys, you have that blue item now and you've rolled a great affix on it that you want. From this point, guys, do not, and I repeat, do not use a Regal Orb on this yet. A Regal Orb, yes, will upgrade this item into a yellow rare, adding another modifier to it, but that's really wasting your own materials here because Regals are expensive. And in doing this, you end up with a yellow item with only 2 affixes on it. But when you turn that white item into that blue magic item and add the affix on it that you wanted, your best bet from this point, guys, is to use an Orb of Augmentation, which adds another affix to that blue magic item. Blues can only have 2 affixes on it, and it's definitely best to have 2 affixes on it that you need before using a Regal Orb, because the Regal Orb here now will turn it into a yellow, turn it into a rare item, but add an additional modifier to it. So it's best, guys, you get the best out of your blue magic item before turning it into a yellow rare item. So yes, guys, make sure you have a blue magic item with 2 affixes on it that you want before using a Regal Orb on it. Okay, so if when you use that Regal Orb on that specific item you're upgrading and crafting, and you got an affix that you actually wanted and is useful to you, what you could do now, guys, is add more modifiers to said item. But this here, guys, costs those Exalted Orbs, which are extremely rare and one of the top currencies in this game. Using this on your rare gear, though, will add another random modifier or affix to said item. And well, if you're getting lucky with what you're rolling here, guys, you can use these until you get a max of 6 affixes on it. Obviously 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. Now if you did keep going with your Exalted Orbs, and let's say 5 of these 6 modifiers or the affixes on it are perfect for you, there is a gamble that you can take, and it's by using the Chaos Orb. This will basically replace a random affix on said item. Now it's a big risk in my opinion. I mean, it's not something I would do. I'd rather 5 modifiers that are perfect for me instead of re-rolling, messing up and only having 4. But hey, it's a risk you may be brave enough to take, or rich enough. But yes, your endgame goal here guys is having a rare yellow item with 6 affixes on it that match your build and are perfect for your build. And while the process of doing so is actually quite easy, but people, there are other things you can indeed do, so let's get into them. So there are also things called essences in this game guys. The essence of ice, mind, enhancement, haste, body, etc, etc. And what these will do is they will upgrade a white item and apply a specific modifier to it, turning that item into a blue magic item. For instance, let's say you have a white common weapon and you use the essence of ice on said weapon, it will upgrade that white weapon to a blue magic weapon with 1 cold modifier on it. On armors, I'm guessing this will be resistance, on weapons it will be extra damage, etc, etc. It's a good way to get a head start in regards to crafting, especially if you know what you're looking for. Now essences for me were just random drops. I think I only started seeing them though in Act 3, but that could just be a me thing. So guys, there are also things called runes, which are quite common drops, but these are a one-time use to items with sockets on them. These cannot be removed or replaced once slotted in. So when you've salvaged 10 items with sockets in and got 10 artificer shards, you'll get an artificer orb. Apply this orb to any gear piece to apply a socket to it. Then guys, from the many options of runes you may have, you can apply them to said gear you apply that socket to. But keep in mind guys, these are a one-time use, so choose wisely. There's also guys certain items with implicits on them. What these are an additional modifier to the 6 you can indeed have on. For instance guys, you'll notice this with jewellery, they'll have an additional modifier which is underlined when inspected above said affixes that you can apply to said weapon. So yeah, keep that in mind. There is also guys something called the Orb of Chance. Now I've only seen these come from me stacking those chance shards, which you get for disenchanting unique gear. Now when you have 10 of these chance shards, you get a chance orb, and what this orb does is pretty cool. It has a chance of upgrading any piece of gear to a unique, or it can literally break the item completely, book it. So yes, this is why it's called chance. There's also guys the Reforging bench, which you will unlock towards the end of Act 3. What this bench does is allow you to place in 3 identical items in regards to the core item itself. Have to be the same rarity, but rolls and stats on the items don't matter. But let's say you have 3 items that are useless to you and you want to craft these, build these together and hopefully get yourself a better one. You put these in the Reforging bench and therefore guys, you get rid of the crap and hopefully roll a better version. Simple as that. Lastly guys, there's something called the Vaal Orbs or Vaal Orbs, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. What these do is corrupt your items, meaning you can no longer upgrade them, but they have a chance in making your item even better. Not something I myself have messed around with as of yet. Now another thing you can indeed do is the trading system within this game. You can search specific things, so let's say you want to start from the very bottom and find a great hammer or something along these lines with specific stats on it guys. You can search for this and you can trade it for the asking price. Sometimes it can be an exalted orb, sometimes it's orbs of augmentation, it just depends on what people want. So yes guys, a great way of getting a head start in my opinion. It's not something I've really looked into. I mean, I've seen a few video guides on exactly how it works and it seems like a great system. Over time guys, I'll get more into it, but yes, again, it's still a choice there for you, an option there for you. But yeah guys, there we have it, a complete guide on crafting within Path of Exile 2, and I hope it helped you out. If you did, leaving a like really helps me out. If you like what you see and want to see more, be sure to subscribe, and hopefully guys, I will see you on that next one.